Hi everyone. Let's give StreamYard a couple of seconds to go live onto our various channels on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thank you very much for joining today. My name is Sandra Bichl. I founded Career Angels over 11 years ago. We are a boutique consultancy firm, career consultancy firm, which means that we are regularly asked, is it a good time to look for a job? Will it be easier or more difficult to find candidates on the job market? Do we have to offer competitive packages, etc., etc.? So our live session today is about the global job market. Has the world finally recovered from COVID-19, or are we simply all on vacation? So let's see. When we talk about the job market, we definitely have to look at the supply and demand and demand for candidates. To fully understand supply and demand, we need to look at unemployment rates on the one hand, and on the other hand, how many companies are hiring at any given time. So when we look at that from an employer's perspective, understanding that dynamics means that if there is less demand, more candidates, your salary packages and benefits don't have to be as competitive as they used to be. So it's employers' markets, and so-called post and pray approach might actually work. From a candidate's perspective, understanding the dynamics of supply and demand on the job market translates into, on the one hand, managing expectations to understand, well, why don't I get more job opportunities, job offers, invitations to recruitment processes? But on the other hand, it also helps candidates to calculate and estimate how long the job search process will most probably take, and how much effort you need to put into the job search itself. Now, a small spoiler alert. Most of the slides I'll be sharing today with you are not great from a candidate's perspective, great from an employer's perspective. However, don't log off after a couple of minutes, because I do have good news for candidates, especially if you're experienced managers and executives. So I'll get to that in about 15 minutes, maybe a little bit earlier. Okay, so overall, since the beginning of the pandemic, what you can see that usually the regions that we track, which is Europe, Africa, and Americas, rarely were in sync in terms of how the regions reacted to COVID-19. Now, when it comes to July is the first and only month since March of last year where all regions are fully in sync. So what happens in the Americas is the same that happens in Europe, which is, it's the first time in 17 months that this has happened. So let's look at the regions step by step. Number one, we have Africa, where we track the top 10 economies. And when I say we track the top 10 economies, means we want to know how many companies are hiring in those countries through LinkedIn. So when it comes to Africa, looking at only the month of July, because this is what we're summarizing now, Africa has lost more than half of their job ads within 4 weeks. The best results, so the biggest monthly increase, go to Egypt with plus 30% and Algeria with plus 11.52%. On the other hand, the biggest monthly decreases, South Africa minus 67.74%, Nigeria minus 28.95%. So 2/3 and 1/3 of a job market that completely disappeared in July, probably because of the summer holidays. Now, if you want to read a full Africa report, we have a dedicated subpage on our homepage, careerangels.eu/market-signals, where you can download the full version. Let's move on to the Americas. In North America, we track Canada, Mexico, United States, Central America, and not all, but many of the South American countries. So let's see how the Americas have been doing. The Americas is one of the regions where we actually see an overall increase across all of the 20-something countries. That's an increase of plus 2.99%, which is a positive thing, obviously. In detail, the biggest monthly increase goes to the United States with plus 6.38%. And the biggest monthly decreases, for example, Cuba, that usually has at least some job ads, it's completely disappeared and we are at 0 job ads in the month of July. Venezuela has lost 70% of their job market from a candidate's perspective. Uruguay, minus 54.91%. So that's massive. Again, if you want to have a look at the Americas in more detail, you can download the report from our website. Moving on to the top 20 economies, and again, we will look at the United States, China, Germany, etc. in more detail in a couple of seconds. So right now we do the big overview. Top 20 global economies, as listed at the Monetary Fund United Nations Population Division 2021 by GDP. In case you're curious, country number 21 on that list would have been Poland. So let's have a look. Out of the 20 global economies in July, only 3 countries have seen an increase in the number of job ads in the month of July, which is Turkey, the United States, and Saudi Arabia. All other countries, China, Canada, okay, minus 1 or minus 2%, but other than that, from Australia of minus 10%. And the person who is helping me, please zoom in because I can't read, thank you. From minus 10% in Australia to minus 88.14% in Spain. So as you can see, a lot of job markets have taken a big hit in these countries, and those changes are, once it gets over a third to 88%, I mean, this is massive. From a company's perspective, it's good news because you can pick and choose your candidates. On the other hand, if you are the candidate in general, there's not that many opportunities to choose from. So let's look at the US in focus. The US is one of the countries that has seen an increase here, plus 6.38%. Overall, the economy is picking up. This is absolutely good news. There are now 6.3 million job ads available on LinkedIn for candidates in the US, so that's great. When we look at the UK here, the trend is, well, the trend goes in the opposite direction. They have lost 54.70% of job ads, which is massive. China, a small decrease of 1.64%, but as you can see, since last week, the numbers increasing again. And now Europe. When it comes to Europe, here we have the most amount of data, because for these 38 countries, we started tracking data early on in the pandemic, starting March, April of last year. With the other regions, we started collecting numbers and the number of published job ads, etc., after the summer of last year. Once we knew that COVID was here to stay, well, at least for now. So let's have a look. Europe, overall as a region across those 38 countries, have seen or have experienced a hit in July of minus 55.5%, which is, again, a massive hit. Now, what we want to know, okay, decrease is fine, but what happened same time last year? And as you can see, at the beginning and throughout the pandemic, Europe last year was much more stable than this year. One of the theories that we have, which is based more on observations and also looking at unemployment rates, because unemployment rates have decreased all over Europe with a couple of exceptions. We do have the feeling, especially after also conversations with C-level executives and executive search consultants, that people simply wanted to take time off after having worked intensively and exhaustively for the last 16, 17 months. When we look at Europe in terms of region, the best region are the Baltic states. They've seen an increase of 2.99%. Same time last year, they had 1/6 of the job ads they currently have. So the Baltics have massively improved over COVID and the pandemic in general. When it comes to the country category, North Macedonia has seen an increase of 27.89% in job ads. Small country, there's not that many job ads overall. I mean, it's only at the beginning of July was 398 job ads. Now we're up to 509. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but overall it's a positive tendency. Same time last year, they had barely 100 job ads, so it's 5 times better results than same time last year during COVID. Then the losing region of July is Southern Europe, Italy, Portugal, Spain, and Greece. You can see that here, as of the last 2 weeks, the countries have fully synced. And as a region, they've lost 68.92%. Same time last year, it was much more stable. July loser country category goes to Ukraine. Here, 91.66% of job ads disappeared within a month. A little on the positive side, the difference between last year and this year, there seems to be a small increase again. But Ukraine also seems to be on holidays, seems to have been on holidays for the month of July. Ukraine, same time last year, had also much better and much more stable results. And now Germany, one of the driving economies in the European Union, minus 54.11% for the month of July. Same time last year, better results, more stable with an upward trend over the summer season. On the positive side, the trend right now is slightly positive. So let's see. Then the Nordic countries, Denmark, Norway, Finland, Sweden, and Iceland, minus 42.75% as a region. With the exception of Iceland, all of them have a downward trend. Same time last year, we had slightly better results, but it's more or less now at the same level. Southeastern Europe, let's have a look at that. Southeastern Europe, right now we have better results than same time last year. And overall, when we look at the full 12 months, so July 2020 to July 2021, as you can see, we do have visible changes. January 25 was a low point. June 29 was a record month, but then again, July 26, so last week, we have again a new record, but a negative record with comparing same time last year, the European job market has lost 42.61% of job ads. Biggest annual increases, Montenegro plus 722%, Northern Macedonia 616%, Andorra 528%. Small countries, when there are some changes, it's much easier, it's visibly much more easily. On the other hand, the biggest annual decrease is Ukraine minus 87%, Switzerland minus 70%. The Austrian job market has seen a decrease of more than half of the job ads. Summarizing our 38 countries in the annual perspective, in 19 of the countries, the number of LinkedIn job ads is up. On the other hand, the other 19 countries, the number of LinkedIn job ads is unfortunately down. However, there is a big but that I mentioned at the very beginning today. There are other KPIs that we track. As some of you might know, we have a group on LinkedIn called Hidden Job Market for Experienced Managers on LinkedIn, where we curate and handpick difficult to find job ads that are targeted at international candidates, senior executive, very experienced managers. Usually the profiles look for candidates with minimum 15 years of experience. All of the job ads are in English. And one thing we have realized in July, that the number of job ads for senior international candidates has actually increased. Normally, we would have anywhere between 30 and 40 interesting, relevant job ads in Europe. In July was usually over 50. So there's actually more job ads for experienced managers and executives with an international profile. On the other hand, what's super interesting, it's not only the companies have gone on vacation, but also the candidates, because if you look at the KPI number of candidates per job ads, we actually see less candidates per job ad unless it is a super popular location and or company. But other than that, there's so many opportunities right now for active senior candidates. So this is definitely something to take advantage of. Maybe take a break from your vacation and look through LinkedIn job ads and see where you could actually be actively applying to. So that is the good news in that. And because of that KPI, I would say that this is not looking at the massively negative numbers worldwide. I do believe that this is a matter of simply the world needing a vacation rather than the start of an actual economic crisis, because companies need to hire, and those who need to hire, we can tell that by the number of increased job ads for senior executives and the fact that there are less candidates because they're simply on vacation. I mean, it's fair enough, people are exhausted, we need to take a break. So if you are a candidate, bear in mind that in the more difficult job markets, you need 2 to 3 times more effort and time when looking for a job. So it's nothing to do with you, but with the realities of the job market itself. You need 2 CVs, a human CV that you would send directly to companies, to decision makers, to executive search consultants, to your network. But you also need a second CV, which is applicant tracking systems. Now, 60 to 70% of job ads go through applicant tracking systems for senior executives. So definitely make sure that your CV is properly formatted, has the right keywords, and only then send your application. Definitely as a candidate, you need to use all 4 job search channels, which is headhunters, job ads, direct approach, and networking, and definitely have consistent personal branding. Having said that, in the summertime, you don't have a lot of candidates who compete with you, so use that to your advantage. If you are a manager and executive with more than 10 years of experience, you'd like to audit your job search, want to discuss your career goals, job search process, etc., feel free to get in touch with me by email, bichl.sandra@careerangels.eu. Completely confidential and free of charge. You can ask my team and myself for a CV report, so a review of your application documents, and depending on your profile, I would match you to the best and the most relevant career consultant that you can actually have a conversation with to discuss your career-related ideas. If you want to know more about Career Angels, we have a Udemy course called Every Step of the Job Search Explained, backed by research. You can also check out our videos on YouTube. We have over 100 videos there. I highly recommend a playlist called Job Search Process. We are live on LinkedIn approximately once every 2 to 3 weeks. If you like what we do, we have put together a list of how to thank us, the way candidates have to fight LinkedIn algorithms and ATS softwares. We also have algorithms that we battle with on LinkedIn and YouTube. So we've put together a list of likes and subscriptions that we would most appreciate, that are most important to us currently. So you can check out www.careerangels.eu/how-to-thank-us. I can already see a couple of people have started commenting. Sandra, thank you for professional report as always. Happy to help and happy to comment. And that actually brings me to my last slide. Thank you very much for joining today. While you are probably on vacation or thinking about your vacation, do use the comment section to ask questions or share your own experiences, or to simply express your thanks. I'll give it a minute in case somebody wants to post a question. In the meantime, well, if your question doesn't make it onto the live session, I'll respond to it offline or through LinkedIn message or email. So once again, thank you very much for joining. My team is posting the links that I've mentioned. Again, thank you very much for joining. Enjoy the summer. I'll be back with a summary in about 3 to 4 weeks. Enjoy. Have a great weekend.